Let's bring in NewsNation senior national correspondent Brian Entin and former FBI special agent and NewsNation national security contributor Tracy Walder. Brian, so we know that Savannah said in the one interview that she's done about all this that there were 2 ransom notes the family and the FBI took seriously. After that second note that they took seriously, she posted on Instagram, "We received your message and we understand." I just played that clip of it. What have you learned about what else that note said?
Yeah, and in that clip, it kind of all makes sense now, the context of it, now that we have more information about the notes. And I was thinking back today, Elizabeth, I remember when you interviewed the KOLD news director,
Right,
where the notes went, and she made clear that the second note was not a ransom note, but she wouldn't give more details about why she was saying that. But it's kind of interesting. Well, if it wasn't a ransom note, then what was it? Well, now, according to my source, we've got a little more information that in the note, the person who wrote the note said that Nancy had died, said that she, I want to make sure I get the quote right, was buried with nature now, and indicated that the death was not intentional, but did not specifically apologize. And there's been some other reporting out there today saying that there was an apology, but I am told very specifically that there was no direct apology in the note, Elizabeth.
and do we know, did the note give any indication as to how she died or when she died? Was it the night she was taken from her home?
No, I don't have that information. All I have is that she died, that she was buried with nature now, and that it was not intentional.
Tracy, we know that this is one of 2 notes that the FBI deemed credible. How do they do that? Which notes did they deem credible, and how do they assess that, given the fact that there were several ransom notes sent to both local TV stations and to TMZ?
Well, thank you so much for having me. So the way that they deem it credible is actually rather primitive, quite frankly, is that they are all taken seriously and deemed credible until they are proved not credible. And so what that tells me is that these 2 notes that were received really at the very beginning of all of this are 2 notes that they have not been able to discredit. Also, it was pretty clear to me, and I said early on, that the FBI was taking them so credible that they were essentially helping them write scripts to respond to these. And if
The
they
family, the Savannah
correct,
kids,
correct,
Savannah Guthrie, her sister, and her brother.
correct. And if they didn't take them to be credible, in all honesty, they wouldn't waste their time doing all of that to get them to respond. And so I believe that they take these in a credible fashion because they can't disprove them at this point in time.
Yeah, Brian, it's pretty clear when you watch this. We're playing the video of it right now. We played the audio a moment ago. But, you know, Savannah Guthrie and her brother and sister posted several videos on Instagram addressing the kidnappers. And this was the one, after this one played, when it seemed clear that they believed she was no longer with us.
Yeah, I mean that was sort of the feeling that we got from it. Now we have confirmation from the note. In terms of whether they're credible, remember, Elizabeth, in the first note, we're told that there were things in that note that only a person who had been at the house would know. A floodlight that was gone, some specific things inside Nancy's room. So I think that's one of the reasons they believe that note was credible. What's interesting, though, is despite believing the notes, they didn't pay the ransom. And even in
Right.
the second note, there was the possibility to pay to receive the body back, it seems like. But it seems the FBI still advised them not to pay the money.
Tracy, why would the FBI advise them to do that? I just have to say, as a person with a mother in her 80s, if she disappeared and the first note said, I'll give me this much money and I'll release her back to you, I would pay it. And in the second video, when they clearly believe that she might be dead, they're saying we will pay anything to get her, in essence, her body back. So do they wait too long to offer to pay?
So I respectfully disagree with what Brian's saying. They actually did put a little bit of money into that Bitcoin account.
A test account, a test amount.
Correct. And that by doing that, that's called tickling the wire. And so what they were trying to do was seeing if this individual would make contact with the money. And then that way they could track that. Because clearly it sounds to me they were having trouble tracking either the VPN or the Tor that was used to send those emails or fill out the email form. And so they actually did attempt.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.